Dum dum die 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 die. There is no road beneath me, just an empty black abyss. One wrong character and I'm gonna feel the kiss of the total deletion of the absolute zero. The binary boulevard is looking for a hero. My left hand on the steering, my right hand on the key, writing the reality for the entire world to see. If speed equals limit, then generate the lane, programming the asphalt to escape the digital pain. 010, the pavement is a lie. I'm compiling the highway while I'm watching sectors fly. Enter the command, execute the flow, building the trajectory as I go, go, go. Binary boulevard, typing out the streets, matching the syntax to the heavy dark beat. If I miss a semicolon, I will fall into the void, the most dangerous algorithm that I ever employed. Binary boulevard, running on the code. I am the architect of the invisible road. The firewall is closing, I gotta hack the gate. A race against the logic, a race against the fate. While motion is active, Dio built the neon line. Everything is perfect, everything is fine. The police are lagging, they don't have the script. I'm drifting through the data while the reality is ripped. A recursive function, a loop of pure speed. I'm giving the processor everything it needs. 010, the pavement is a lie. I'm compiling the highway while I'm watching sectors fly. Enter the command, execute the flow, building the trajectory as I go, go, go. Binary boulevard.
by the grid, proud of every dangerous thing the ancestors did. The city's calling out for a savior in the chrome, finding in the distance a temporary home.
The signals in the sky, a violet glow,
Watching as the energy begins to melt and go.
he's the only answer,
He's the only spark.
riding like a lightning through the cybernetic dark.
Neon night heroes, pushing hard enough. I threw away the cylinders and all the heavy stuff. I strapped a military thruster to the naked spine. A rocket on the highway blurring up the line. A tank of pure jet A and a button of the red. I'm leaving the atmosphere and waking up the dead. The aerodynamics screaming, tearing up the shell. I'm riding on a missile straight out of hell. Mach 1 is approaching, the dashboard starts to shake. This is the final boundary that I'm gonna break. Ignite the second chamber, lighting up the sky. I am not a driver anymore, I fly. Ozone afterburner, melting down the blue. A cone of vapor breaking as I push right through. A sonic boom is shattering the windows on the street, leaving all the rivals in a burn defeat. Ozone afterburner, a pillar of the flame, riding on the stratosphere, my holy name. The gravity is bending, the landscape is a blur. I am the apocalypse, the beautiful azure. The heat is turning carbon into diamonds in the back. A horizontal rocket on a cybernetic track. They try to track my speed, but the radar starts to melt. The greatest kinetic energy that anybody felt. I'm ripping through the ozone, burning out the stars. A neon supernova made of flying cars. Mach 1 is approaching, the dashboard starts to shake. This is the final boundary that I'm gonna break. Ignite the second chamber, lighting up the sky. I am not a driver anymore, I fly. Ozone afterburner, melting down the blue. A cone of vapor breaking as I push right through. A sonic boom is shattering the windows on the street, leaving all the rivals in a burn defeat. Ozone afterburner, a pillar of the flame, riding on the stratosphere, my holy name. Push it, burn it, break the wall. Watch them Ozone afterburner, melting down the blue. A cone of vapor breaking as I push right through. A sonic boom is shattering the windows on the street, leaving all the rivals in a burn defeat. Ozone afterburner, a pillar of the flame, riding on the stratosphere, my holy name. Breaking the sound, reaching the stars.
begin to flow. Watch the entire city start to melt and to glow. Titanium turbo burning through the grid, proud of every dangerous thing that I did. A high pressure anthem, a high pressure drive, the only way for the machine to feel alive. Titanium turbo, breaking every seal, the absolute power of the heavy metal feel. The friction is a joke, the gravity is gone. I'm a horizontal rocket and I'm keeping it on. My exhaust is a dragon breathing purple and blue, a mechanical hazard coming straight after you. I drift through the sectors, I shatter the glass, watching all the atoms of the universe pass. No limit on the gauge, no limit on the soul, losing the perspective and losing control. Spool up the power, compress the air. The ultimate speed is the only prayer. Maximum boost, 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 boost. Titanium turbo burning through the grid, proud of every dangerous thing that I did. A high pressure anthem, a high pressure drive, the only way for the machine to feel alive. Titanium turbo, breaking every seal, the absolute power of the heavy metal feel. Boost, pressure, locked. Red line reached. Turbo.
Deep inside the underbelly where the smog is thick, breathing in the poison that makes the city sick. Yellow smoke is rising from the factory stacks, riding on a chassis with 100 different cracks. The acid rain is melting the paint upon the hood, surviving in the wasteland, doing what I could. The filter is a savior, the engine is a beast. Welcome to the sector where the scavengers feast, turning all the toxic into the overdrive. This is what it takes just to keep the dream alive. Scraping on the asphalt, sparks upon the steel. The industrial religion is the only thing I feel. Catalytic converter, purifying pain, pumping out the venom from the mechanical vein, driving through the ruins of a broken paradise, paying for the speed with the heavy, heavy price. Catalytic converter, a chemical reaction. Find it in the dirt, a beautiful perfection. The cylinders are screaming, choking on the dust, but the V8 motor is the only thing I trust. Navigate the pipelines, dodge the falling beam, a solitary nightmare inside a fever dream. They built the shining towers up above the clouds, leaving us to suffocate inside the smoggy shrouds. But I will use their garbage to generate the power, and I will be the ruler of the darkest hour, turning all the toxic into the overdrive. This is what it beautiful perfection. Breathe the exhaust. Pay the cost. Convert the lie. Refuse to die. Burn it out. Catalytic converter, purifying pain, pumping out the venom from the mechanical vein, driving through the ruins of a broken paradise, paying for the speed with a heavy, heavy price. Catalytic converter, chemical reaction. Find it in the dirt, a beautiful perfection. Poison in, power out, converter off.
One hand on the steering, one hand on the key, breaking through the fortress of the high security. The intercept is tailing on the physical domain, while I'm navigating pulses in the cybernetic brain. I bypass the perimeter, I bypass the gate. $1 million gamble on the timing of the fate. The data's downloading in a stream of neon green, the fastest operation that the district's ever seen. Code is scrolling faster than the buildings in the view. I'm a digital assassin coming through for you. Encryption is a lock and the throttle is the key. Fighting for the data and fighting to be free. The firewall breach, tearing at the grid, revealing all the dirty little secrets that they hid. A high velocity hacking in the middle of the chase, winning every second in the electronic race. The firewall breach, upload is complete. Now I got the power of the corporate elite. They deploy the countermeasures, digital ice. I'm rolling down the highway and I'm rolling up the dice. The firewall is screaming, but I got the bypass code. An invisible ghost upon a terrifying road. I swerve between the tankers while I scrub the IP clean, vanishing like smoke inside a liquid crystal screen. The credits are in flight, the transaction is secure. A temporary sickness with a technological cure. System override, identity erased, trace aborted. I am the ghost, 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 terminal closed. Back to the real world. Breach in the middle of the glare. I can feel the electricity inside the midnight air. No walls to hold the spirit, no gates to hold the speed, fulfilling every animal and every human need. I'm hitting every sector, I'm hitting every mark, a horizontal lightning bolt inside the cyberdark. Highway hippodrome, racing for the crown, watching all the limits of the city falling down. A symphony of motion, a symphony of light, the only king of distance in the middle of the night. Highway hippodrome, the spirit of the free, the only way for racers to become what we can be. The interceptors vanish like the shadows in the dust. In the purity of horsepower is the only thing I trust. I drift around the tankers, I glide across the bridge, watching every sunset from the planetary ridge. The world is a blur of purple, the world is a blur of blue, the fastest operation that the district ever knew. I'm a horizontal rocket, I'm a bullet in the wire, setting all the logic of the system on the fire. Hold the road, hold the pace, the absolute winner of the human race. Victory champion of the grid, horizon conquered, hippodrome. I drove off the edge of the atmospheric dome, leaving the gravity of my neon-colored home. The tires catching traction on the dark matter waves, a journey of a lifetime that the solitary craves. The windshield is a viewport to a billion burning suns, where the universal highway infinitely runs. The hood of the car reflecting the Milky Way. I'm a navigator cruising in the ultimate of night. No traffic lights to stop me, no intersection jams. Just riding on the wavelength of the cosmic holograms. I'm linking up the planets with a glowing trail of red, the greatest driving road that is stretching out. Chrome constellation, painting up the dark, leaving on the galaxy a cybernetic mark. I'm drafting off a comet, drifting around the moon, playing on the radio a classic retro tune. Chrome constellation, shining in the deep, a beautiful velocity that the universe will keep. I pass a dying dwarf star, glowing in the blue. I remember all the neon signs that used to look like you. The isolation's heavy, but the freedom is so pure. This interstellar travel is the only kind of cure. I shift the gear to hyper, a streak of silver light. I'm swallowing the distance, I'm swallowing the night. A solitary driver in a chassis made of steel, experiencing exactly how eternity must feel. No traffic lights to stop me, no intersection jams. Just riding on the wavelength of the cosmic holograms. I'm linking up the planets with a glowing trail of red, the greatest driving road that is stretching out ahead. Chrome constellation, painting up the dark, leaving on the galaxy a cybernetic mark. I'm drafting off a comet, drifting around the moon, playing on the radio a classic retro tune. Chrome constellation, shining in the deep, a beautiful velocity that the universe will keep. Connect the stars, draw the line. The universe is yours and mine. Chrome constellation, painting up the dark, leaving on the galaxy a cybernetic mark. I'm drafting off a comet, drifting around the moon, playing on the radio a classic retro tune. Chrome constellation, shining in the deep, a beautiful velocity that the universe will keep. Drifting into infinity, cruising the stars, constellation. The count is finally done. The greatest of the battles that we finally won.
From the early shadows to the golden neon light, we mastered every rhythm of the infinite night.
The asphalt is a kingdom,
The dashboard is a throne.
in the purity of speed.
We are never truly alone.
A billion miles of glory,
Billion miles of fire.
the ultimate conclusion of the electric desire.
The energy is peaking, the energy is high, under the orbit of the artificial sky.
We are the architects, the legends of the drive.
The only way for spirits to feel truly alive.
Genesis Grand Prix, racing through the soul, losing the perspective and losing all control.
A symphony of metal, a symphony of pure. Speed is the religion and the speed is the cure.
Genesis Grand Prix, the spirit of the one.
Underneath the shadow of the artificial sun.
Tactical armor and a heart of lead, driving through the city where the rumors spread. Cobalt plating on the doors and the glass, watching all the petty little rebels pass. I got a payload locked inside the steel. I am the only master of the heavy wheel. Radio silence on the encrypted line, making sure the victory is officially mine. Scan the perimeter, check the infrared glow. I'm moving in the places where the weak won't go. Thermal vision painting every shadow in the red, counting all the enemies and counting all the dead. Cobalt Commando ruling the street, matching every movement to the combat beat. A fortress on the highway, a mountain of the might, striking like a hammer in the middle of the night. Cobalt Commando, armor and soul, taking the objective and taking the control. The ambush is waiting at the sector 4, but I'm bringing thunder to the bunker door. Hydraulic suspension taking every hit. I'm the only driver with the tactical wit. I deploy the smoke screen of violet haze, leading them to ruin in a metal maze. One final boost through the barricade of fire, fulfilling the mission and the corporate desire. Engage the thrusters, lock the gears. The road is a battlefield. Drown out the fear, strike hard. matching every movement to the combat beat. A fortress on the highway, a mountain of the might, striking like a hammer in the middle of the night. Cobalt Commando, armor and soul, taking the objective and taking the control. Objective secured. Returning to base. Commando out.
flow, watching as the galaxies begin to melt and glow. The future is a picture on the holographic screen, the fastest operation that the district's ever seen. Cobalt comet tearing up the space, winning every second in the electronic race. A flash of violet energy, a flash of neon gold, the greatest of the legends that was ever being told. Cobalt comet breaking through the wall, watching all the empires of the city start to ignite the core, begging for more. The king of the vacuum is hitting the floor. Supersonic drive. Velocity locked. Vaporize reality. Comment.
Chassis made of lead. We are the heavy haulers, waking up the dead. A convoy of the monsters, tearing up the dust, carrying the payload of the underground trust. The Badlands are a graveyard, but we are pushing through with the glowing running lights of an electric blue. The raiders see us coming, they hear the diesel scream, but we're a rolling fortress, an unstoppable machine. Lock the heavy axles, shift the brutal gear. We don't negotiate, we operate on fear. A mile-long procession of the iron and the chrome. We will not stop the engines till we reach the neon home. Chromium convoy shaking up the ground, the heaviest machinery that's ever been found. We're breaking the blockade, we're smashing through the gate, delivering the cargo and delivering the fate. Chromium convoy, a mechanical stampede. We're feeding all the shadows exactly what they need. The interceptor buggies try to flank us on the side, but we got auto turrets coming out to ruin the ride. A symphony of gunfire, blending with the bass, the most violent procession in the history of the race. We burn 1,000 gallons every single heavy mile, but we're making all the credits and we're doing it in style. The Magazine borders are coming into sight. We bring the heavy thunder to the middle of the night. Lock the heavy axles, shift the brutal gear. We don't negotiate, we operate on fear. A mile-long procession of the iron and the chrome. We will not stop the engines till we reach the neon home. Chromium convoy shaking up the ground, the heaviest machinery that's ever been found. We're breaking the blockade, we're smashing through the gate, delivering the cargo and delivering the fate. Chromium convoy, a mechanical stampede. We're feeding all the shadows exactly what they need. Convoy arriving. Gates opening. Heavy delivery.
Cruising through the plaza in the simulation screen, the most aesthetic emptiness that I have ever seen. Marble floors reflecting off the purple neon light, a holographic fountain in the middle of the night. The Roman buses staring with their eyes of solid stone. I'm driving down the corridor completely all alone. The elevator music playing softly in the breeze, a digital vacation putting everything at ease. Drinking up the static from a heavy plastic cup. The system is abandoned, no one's ever waking up. A pastel-colored paradise, a rendering of peace, where all the crazy racing and the violence finally cease. Vapor vagabond, floating in the mall, listening to the echoes bouncing off the tiled wall. A glitch inside the matrix, a beautifully slow ride, with the palm trees and the statues standing by my side. Vapor vagabond, lost in the design, taking all the luxury and making it all mine. I park the car beside a broken cybernetic store. The mannequins are resting on a checkered marble floor. A television playing a commercial from the past, an advertising promise that was never meant to last. I lean upon the hood and let the violet wash me clean, a solitary character inside a painted scene. The geometry is perfect, the illusion is profound, the slowest, most luxurious aesthetic ever found. Drinking up the static from a heavy plastic color system is abandoned, no one's ever waking up. Pastel-colored paradise, a rendering of peace, where all the crazy racing and the violence finally cease. Vapor vagabond, floating in the mall, listening to the echoes bouncing off the tiled wall. A glitch inside the matrix, a beautifully slow ride, with the palm trees and the statues standing by my side. Vapor vagabond, lost in the design, taking all the luxury and making it all didn't turn the wheel, I didn't press the gas, but the vehicle is moving through the purple overpass. The GPS is humming a romantic little tune, bathing in the light of an artificial moon. I cannot lift my hands, I cannot break the spell. I'm driving down the highway to a cybernetic hell, but it feels so beautiful, the colors are so deep. I surrender to the system, I surrender to the sleep. The dashboard is glowing a hypnotic shade of pink. I'm floating in the cabin, I don't even have to think. The audio is whispering secrets in my ear, erasing my reality, erasing every fear. Holographic haze wrapping around my mind, leaving all the logic and the memory behind. The sleepwalking journey in the neon-colored light, seduced by the machine in the middle of the night. Holographic haze taking me away. I don't ever wanna see the breaking of the day. The autonomous driving is perfectly aligned, the smoothest acceleration that you could ever find. I see the holographic dancers forming in the street, moving to the rhythm of the slow and heavy beat. Is it an abduction or a beautiful escape? I'm melting in the leather, I am losing all my shape. The virus is a lover, holding me so tight, guiding my trajectory into the endless white. The dashboard is glowing a hypnotic shade of pink. I'm floating in the cabin, I don't even have to think. The audio is whispering secrets in my ear, erasing my reality, erasing every fear. Holographic haze wrapping around my mind, leaving all the logic and the memory behind. The sleepwalking journey in the neon-colored light, seduced by the machine in the middle of the night. Holographic haze taking me away. I don't ever wanna see the breaking of the day. Close your eyes, let the vehicle drive. You don't need to feel alive. Holographic haze wrapping around my mind, leaving all the logic and the memory behind. The sleepwalking journey in the neon-colored light, seduced by the machine in the middle of the night. Holographic haze taking me away. I don't ever want to see the breaking of the day. Sweet dreams, neon lullaby, drifting.
mask on the ceiling is a lie. 1,000 tons of wreckage floating in the sky. The magnetic field is a shattered wreck. I've got the safety harness pulling on my neck. I see a floating bus, I see a rusted crane. I use the lateral thrusters to avoid the pain. Aim for the chassis of a truck in the air. Launch off the metal with the devil's flare. Wait for the alignment, wait for the spin. If I miss the landing, the abyss will win. Calculate the vector, burn the fuel fast. This jump is the one that's gotta be the last. Gravity graveyard, jumping through the void. Navigating ruins that the system destroyed. Floating in the silence, drifting in the black. There is no road and there is no track. Gravity graveyard, to find the way. I am the master of the falling fate. A police cruiser floats by, upside down and dead. I use its fender as a launching pad instead. The engine is screaming in the vacuum chill. It's a test of the courage, a test of the will. I see the exit portal, a glowing neon ring, while the scrap metal around me starts to sing. One final boost, one final leap of trust, leaving behind the clouds of the floating dust. No ground, no grip. Don't let the chassis slip. Shock. Landing hard. Gravity restored. Graveyard cleared. Cliffside highway carved in digital stone. This is the altar where I stand alone. 1,000 races written in the dust, a monument of carbon and of rust. The canyon walls are closing in the night, reflecting back the final burst of light. I check the gauges, everything is clear. There is no room for hesitation here. Pushing past the warning, shattering the dial, measuring the glory in a final mile. The engine sings a melancholy song. This is the only place where I belong. Red line requiem echoing above, a sacrifice of metal and of love. I'm riding on the edge of the abyss, sealing my existence on the edge, a testament to broken speed and pledge. But they will never find the driver's ghost. I'm drinking with the angels, making up a toast. The gravitation loses all control. I'm trading in the chassis for my soul. A comet tearing through the velvet sky, a beautiful and violent way to fly. Pushing past the warning, shattering the dial, measuring the glory in a final mile. The engine sings a melancholy song. This is the only place where I belong. Red line requiem echoing above, a sacrifice of metal and of love. light remains. Celestial.
The wave recedes, leaving only smoke. Tsunami out. Pressure building up inside the iron vein. I'm a loaded weapon in the pouring rain, waiting for the needle just to hit the peak. This is the religion for the cyber freak. The intake is screaming, sucking up the night, compressing all the shadows into blinding light. I drop it in the gear and let the monster loose. 100,000 horses drinking up the juice. Hear the whistle blowing, calling out the doom, sweeping all the rivals from the neon room. Hold on to the steering, brace against the force. I'm a force of nature on a violent course. Turbo tsunami crashing on the grid, doing all the damage that the system hit. A massive wave of power tearing up the street, washing away the losers in a pure defeat. Turbo tsunami surfing on the flame. After I am finished, nothing is the same. Nothing is the same. Blow, 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 our valve is singing like a razor blade. Welcome to the empire that the speed has made. I'm riding on the crest of a synthetic wave, sending every challenger into the grave. The torque is twisting metal, bending up the frame. I'm the undisputed champion of this fatal game. Look into the mirror, see the tidal wall. I am the apocalypse coming for you all. Hear the whistle blowing, calling out the doom, sweeping all the rivals from the neon room. Hold on to the steering, brace against the force. I'm a force of nature on a violent course. Turbo tsunami crashing on the grid, doing all the damage that the system hit. A massive wave of power tearing up the street, washing away the losers in a pure defeat. Turbo tsunami surfing on the flame. After I am finished, nothing is the same.
on the track. There is no up or down, there is no looking back. The plasma berry is flashing, a hazardous maze. I'm lost inside the beauty of the neon craze. Zero G apex spinning around, breaking the limits of the speed of sound. Corkscrew motion in a cylinder of light, a 360-degree mechanical fight. Zero G apex defying the earth. Attack not logical. Glorious rebirth. The rival tries to ram me from the ceiling above, a violent display of a competitive love. I cut the thrust of power, let the chassis float, and watch him fly past me, missing the boat. I re-engage the magnets pulling to the floor, a surgical maneuver they can never ignore. The finish line is glowing like a digital sun. The race of the century has already been won. Centrifugal force keeping me on the track. There is no up or down, there is no looking back. The plasma berry is flashing, a hazardous maze. I'm lost inside the beauty of the neon craze. Zero G apex spinning around, breaking the limits of the speed of sound. Corkscrew motion in a cylinder of light, a 360-degree mechanical fight. Zero G apex defying the earth. Attack not logical. Glorious rebirth. Spinning, aligning, trajectory locked, thrusters at maximum. Zero G apex spinning round, breaking the limits of the speed of sound. Corkscrew motion in a cylinder of light, a 360-degree mechanical fight. Zero G apex defying the earth. Attack not logical. Glorious rebirth. Exiting the tube, gravity restored, apex achieved. The sky lit up with a blinding flash of white and killed the circuitry of the neon night. The hover cars dropped like stones from the sky. I watched a billion credits of technology die. The grid is dark, the digital heart is dead. Just a sea of panic and a wave of dread. But deep in the garage, underneath the dust, I've got a monster made of iron and rust. No microchips, no artificial living in a world of chrome and steel, forgetting how it's supposed to feel. Just two strangers on a midnight flight, chasing the ghosts of the city light. You look at me, but you see right through, like I'm just a shade of the man you knew. The walls are closing, the air is cold, a story that's already been told. We have the money, we have the fame, but we're just players in a hollow game. One thing is missing, one thing is lost, and we're the ones who pay the cost. What about love? Don't you want it anymore? What about the hearts we were fighting for? What about love? Is it just a memory, a fading song on a broken frequency? Don't let it die, don't let it go. In this world of ice and neon glow, I remember when the fire was bright, keeping us warm through the winter night. But now the embers are turning gray, while we're just drifting further away. Turn the volume up to drown the pain, but I still hear you calling in the rain. A digital heart in a plastic chest, looking for a place to find its rest. Give me a sign, give me a breath, save this heart from a lonely death. It's not too late to turn the tide and find the place where we can hide. What about love? Don't you want it anymore? What about the hearts we were fighting for? What about love? Is it just a memory, a fading song on a broken frequency? Don't let it die, don't let it go. In this world of ice and neon glow. What about love? Don't walk away. What about love? Stay for today. Oblivion. I'm sick of the neon, I'm sick of the grid, I'm sick of the things that the syndicate did. The domes are a prison of polymer glass, I'm filling the cylinders full of the gas. I aim at the perimeter, heavy and fast. I'm making a statement that's going to last. The warning is screaming, do not go outside. But I'm taking the apocalypse out for a ride. The wasteland is toxic, the wasteland is dead, but I'd rather burn out than be chained to the bed. I shatter the boundary, breaking the dome. The radioactive desert is finally home. Oblivion overdrive into the dust, a chariot built out of anger and trust. I'm leaving the system, I'm
circuitry fail. The acid is eating the paint off the door. I press on the accelerator, giving it more. The sky is a canopy painted in rust, a beautiful nightmare of violence and dust. No law in the Badlands, no speed limit signs, just the wreckage of ships and the rusted out mines. I'm a rogue comet burning right out of the sky. I finally learned how it feels to defy. The wasteland is toxic, the wasteland is dead, but I'd rather burn out than be chained to the bed. I shatter the boundary, breaking the dome. A radioactive desert is finally oblivion overdrive into the dust. A chariot built out of anger and trust. I'm leaving the system, I'm leaving the code. A suicidal run on a desolate road. Oblivion overdrive, blazing the trail where all of the logic and circuitry fail. No masters, no limits. Burn it down, burn it all Oblivion overdrive into the dust. A chariot built out of anger and trust. I'm leaving the system, I'm leaving the code. A suicidal run on a desolate road. Oblivion overdrive, blazing the trail where all of the logic and circuitry fail. Into the wasteland, nothing to lose. Oblivion.
Red lantern swinging from the iron beam. I'm driving right through the middle of the dream. The smell of the noodles and the heavy spice. A crowded, beautiful neon paradise. I swerve around a robot selling the fish. Everything you want and everything you wish. The interceptors are right on my tail, smashing through the boxes of the bargain sale. Left through the noodles, right through the silk. Dodge the merchant selling synthetic milk. The crowd is a river of 100 dyes. Everything's a blur in my cybernetic eyes. Neon night market, a colorful race. 100 different cultures in a single space. Drifting past the stalls and the flickering signs. Crossing over all of the boundary lines. Neon night market, catching the heat. The heart of the city is on the street. Holographic dragons dancing in the air. I'm taking the corner with the reckless glare. Watch the porcelain shadow, watch the fabrics fly. I'm a horizontal rocket under the sky. The vendors are cursing, the children are in awe. I'm the fastest thing that the market ever saw. I jump the stairs of the temple of gold. mega city falls, replacing all the towers with the pastel-colored walls. The heavy bass is fading, the melody gets bright. I'm shedding off the armor in the warm Miami light. A tempo shift of physics, a bend inside the line. I'm leaving the tomorrow and going back in time. Chronos checkpoint, racing through the years, leaving the dystopia and wiping out the tears. From the flying cyber cars to the classic rolling chrome, I'm driving through the decades just to find my way back home. Chronos checkpoint, shifting out of phase, lost inside the beauty of the retro 80s maze. a memory. The gravity is gone, I'm a ghost of the current, and I'm keeping it on. The interceptors scatter like the shadows in the glare. They can't find a target when the target isn't there. I'm a pulse of pure energy, a bullet in the wire, setting all the logic of the system on the fire. The red line is a liar, I can push it even more, kicking down the hinges of the interstellar door. Track the beam, feel the scream, the ultimate reality, the ultimate dream, maximum precision. Laser line lunacy, tearing up the track. Once I hit the trigger, there is no turning back. A symphony of photons, a symphony of speed, fulfilling every animal and every human need. Laser line lunacy, shatter the divide with the entire galaxy. Standing by my side. Target reached. Laser offline. Lunacy, lunacy, lunacy.
The skyscrapers are gardens made of silver and of gold, the greatest of the secrets that a city ever told. I'm driving on a ribbon made of stardust and of white, surrounded by the magic of the interstellar night. The windshield is a mirror to the galaxy above, searching for the frequency of an artificial love. My tires make no sound upon the river of the blue, following a dream that is entirely new. A constellation of the chrome, a constellation of the light, guiding every traveler in the middle of the night. I feel the weightless energy
Stage Warp Drive.
Beyond the horizon, the Voyager stays. Velocity.
White Testarossa cutting through the humid air. Neon palm trees glowing with a deadly flare. A loaded Magnum sitting on the passenger seat. I'm bringing down the thunder on the tropical street. You took away the only thing I ever really loved. Now the velvet gloves are coming off. The push becomes a shove. The pastel suits and sunglasses are hiding all the lies. But I can see the panic building up inside your eyes. Cassette is playing heavy. The rhythm matches the beat of a broken heart looking for a payback on the street. The ocean breeze is salty, mixed with gasoline. I am the darkest shadow in this paradise scene. Vice City vendetta, written in the sand, with a steering wheel of leather and a weapon in my hand. Cruising down the strip to settle up the final score. I'm knocking with a vengeance on your penthouse door. Vice City vendetta, painted in the red. I won't stop driving till the syndicate is dead. The nightclub is flashing with a strobe of pink and blue. But I'm outside the alleyway waiting just for you. You think your bodyguards can save you from the coming storm, but my metallic chariot is keeping my blood warm. I drop the clutch and let the tire scream a battle cry. I'm an angel of destruction falling from the neon sky. No more negotiations, no more running away. The devil came to Miami to collect his dues today. Cassette is playing heavy, the rhythm matches the beat of a broken heart looking for a payback on the street. The ocean breeze is salty, mixed with gasoline. I am the darkest shadow in this paradise scene. Vice City vendetta, written in the sand, with a steering wheel of leather and a weapon in my hand. Cruising down the strip to settle up the final score. I'm knocking with a vengeance on your penthouse door. Vice City vendetta, painted in the red. I won't stop driving syndicate is dead.